Hello everyone. So today I am going to talk about how to do web scraping for dynamic pages. So for those of you who do not know what web scraping is actually a technique of retrieving data from web pages from the internet using code. And web scraping can be of two types depending on the pages we are going to scrape. So there are normally static pages and dynamic pages. So static pages are those pages in which the data is fixed and does not change every time we load the page. And for the dynamic, this is not the case. For the dynamic pages, the data is ever changing. It changes so fast, and every time there is new data, there is changes there. So to retrieve them can be a little bit of tricky, but there are a lot of ways available to do that, and one of them is Selenium. I use Selenium, but it was quite slow, so I'm going to use asynchronous in this method, in this video. And first of all, I'm going to show you how to do basic web scraping, and then we will go into asynchronous method. So let's start. So from VS4 import Beautiful Soup is used mainly for web scraping, and import requests library as well. It is also very useful, and we will need a couple of more libraries, but let's settle for this right now. And I'm going to scrape Z News for today's video, and we will need this URL. So we got the URL, and the next thing we need is the header of this. So header is like a dictionary that is normally used, and the header is usually, here we go to the network by inspecting the page, and we select this and we get the response headers. And what you need to do is, request header is there, you need to put them all in between the quotes so they become string, and then you can extract them. So this is already I have done, so I will just copy it and paste it. Okay. Now the next step is to make a function. So we will make a function of getting the response. So get response is the function here, and we'll pass the URL inside. And then what will we do? We'll get the response, that is requests dot get. We'll pass two things, URL inside of it, and the headers equals to header. Okay, and then we will return response. Okay. Now what we do, we make another function to get the headlines. Let's suppose we want to extract the headlines from the website. So we make this, and then we get the response first from the URL. So we use the function we made, get response, and we use the URL. Okay, and then we make the soup object. Soup object is usually referred to actually extract the HTML tags that we have, and it is quite handy to use this. And what we will pass response.content and the HTML parser. Okay, then now what we do, we have to get the news content. So news is equals to soup.select. You can use find as well, but I am going to use this. And then we go here and we inspect the website. So let's suppose we want to get these headlines. We inspect them, and we have to find the tag exactly, that is here inside this. We get the tag. This is the tag that we want actually. So it's quite tricky to find it sometimes, but we have copied the selector and then we paste it here and then we get the news. Now what we do, we make again the soup object using the beautiful soup, and we again pass the string of news. Remember to convert it into string every time we pass it, and html.parser. Okay. Now what we do, we again have to get the lines, and lines are inside the soup that we have already created. So soup.select li. So you can see here that inside this div we have another div, and inside that we have the different li elements that we actually want to have, and inside these li elements we have the different title title here that we actually have the headline in. So we need to extract the title. So this is the lines. Now what we do for I in lines, we go through each element, and again we make the soup, beautiful soup of stri and html.parser. Okay. And again we have to extract. So this time we extract news data is equals to soup dot select. Again you can use find if you want, and select a, because inside the a tag the actual title is there. Now for j in news data actually, we have headline that is equals to j dot get title. So and now we just simply print this headline, and now we call the function headlines. Okay, so far so good. So we got our response. So that is the response that we got. But sometimes when you do this more frequently, you will not get the response. So what to do in that case? You can use a lot of methods, but the one I am using is involving asynchronous. So for that, you have to use the HTML request library, request.html library, request HTML library, and from that you have to import asynchronous HTML session, and also you have to import the sync library. Okay, so far so good, done. Now what you can do, just comment out this, and then you have to get a session is equals to an object of this class, and then you have to wait. So what your response actually is going to be, response is equals to await session dot get url, and this is showing an error here because I have to use an asynchronous keyword here, because I'm using await, and await is always used in an asynchronous function. So I can do this, and here also I have to use asyncio dot get dot run actually dot run headlines. Now I run it again, and I got the response. So this is what you can do. And there are also a way where we have to use loop, but I got error inside that because the loop was sometimes not defined, the loop was not completed. So you have to use loop anywhere, just use await and it will be all good. And you can even pass this data to your Flask applications and whatever you are using, and it will run as fine as good. So that's all. Hope this helps. Thank you.